This podcast is sponsored by the Wren Bar, the top venue for your team's events, parties or barbecues. Message the Wren Bar on social media to book in your team.
So I'm now joined by Jeff Lynskey for another edition of the Galway Senior and Intermediate rankings. I think our last time was before the quarter-finals, or the last round of the group was the last time we did them. So there's a bit of adjustments, but nothing too major. Jeff, I just had a brief look today when we started off doing the power rankings initially across senior B and intermediate. Not really any major surprises really from the movement of teams from the very start to now. A few teams have moved up gradually, but not a huge amount of teams.
No, like you wouldn't need to be a big expert on hurling to kind of forecast what was going to happen at Senior A. Senior B was probably the two outliers there were definitely Ascafone, Mulla, and look, brilliant ending to the game. The last, Paul, I don't know if you've seen it, like the last minute and a half, 2 minutes it was incredible, really. Brilliant, just a brilliant way to kind of encapsulate what was going on with both teams this year, because obviously to put a huge amount of work in at the start of the year, both deserving to be in the final, and probably neither the team deserved to lose at the last day. But showed tremendous courage both sides the way they went for it. So look, that the replay will be interesting enough. Yeah, look, you're looking at it from the point of view. Our forecasting was fairly right all year. There was a few teams that moved up and moved down. No seismic jumps, really. Tynagh-Abbey, we kind of flagged, Paul, in previous podcast there regarding they were coming to the bye nicely, and I did say if they got their key players back, Sean Loftus come on for 10-15 minutes. That'll help him out. Jamie Holland at 11. This time of year, like, he's going to be a ball winner. He caused Johnny Cohen trouble in the first half, particularly with puckouts. The peculiar thing really was, like Loughrea were big fancies. And look, I'm disappointed for the lads usually, like, because I don't understand the amount of work they put in. But Tynagh-Abbey just played better on the day. Management team, lads I know fairly well from living with them in America and golfing with them. Darren Shocks, Brian Holland, Park Welch, they'll be delighted where they're at now, and they will want to protect what the Tynagh-Abbey team did in the 60s regarding the 6 in a row. And Turlock gave Thomas a lesson last year, as far as I remember, didn't in the group stage.
Yeah.
So that will be back in Thomas's mind. And like when you factor in also Kevin Hussey to come back and Morris, they still have two players there that they're going to be using coming down the home straight.
So if we just look at the senior rankings first, Thomas's county champions remain in first. Tynagh-Abbey after their victory up 2 places in second. Loughrea third, down 1 place. Sarsfield fourth, they're down 1 place after their defeat to Thomas's and semi. The rest stays the same. Clembridge fifth, Ormore Mary sixth, Castlegare seventh, Captagal eighth, and Ardoran ninth. I put the question last night on the podcast to Craig Lally and Eugene McEntee of, are Thomas's a better team this year than last year? And they both agreed that they're better this year. Would you agree?
I think would Kenneth be happy with the performance levels of the last 2 games? Like Sarsfield's had a serious chance at the end with Joseph, and then Ian Fox's flick. But their big player Conor Cooney is arguably, look, without doubt, the best club player in the county over the last 3-4 years, and he's set up for a key score. Earlier in the early rounds, I would definitely say yeah, Paul, but I do see there is certain positions where I'm kind of going, they can be got up there. Like this, Caulfield, like that was the curveball last year. He's not around. Bernard Burke didn't see any game time the last day, but he was tagged. David came on. Yeah, fair enough. Shane Cooney is back and flying it. David Shurry is back. But I'm just wondering, will the pressure of the occasion influence the outcome of the game? I just think that Turlock are coming with a massive run, and they have their own history and tradition to protect as well. So it's going to be fairly interesting. Like the matchups, you're looking at Dahi picking up Connor Cooney.
Will they do that though? Because Dahi has sat back in the sixth role all year.
Well, you have to man-mark Connor Cooney. Like you can't. I know Dunloy last year man-marked them, and they got the result they needed. I just when you're playing Thomas's, you have to pay due respect to Connor Cooney. You just have to put your best man marker on him. That doesn't care about the ball. It's just going to mark him. If Mike Quinn had done that, that ball that was given out to him, given out to Connor there just after Sarsfield's got it back to a point, wasn't it? You don't know, and that's down to concentration and focus. It could be a bit of tiredness at the end, but like you just have to squeeze him, because you can't give him room. He's too accurate of a shooter to give him that space.
On that, you're probably thinking it's going to be. You could make the case that it'll be Dahi, but we've seen Dara Whelan was significant man marker the last day coming back to wing back. Dan Loftus has been as well throughout the championship. They're probably one of the three that are going to mark them. But just on Thomas's, have you seen, maybe you haven't seen too much improvement in the last two games, but have you seen Victor Manzo and John Head and these players evolve more into bigger players this year?
Yeah, I have. But like Saracens have closed the gap compared to last year. Like Francis Madden, the lads, when they review the year and look back on it, and yeah, definitely they had a chance the last day to bring it to a draw, and you don't know what would have happened in another minute and a half if that chance from Joseph had gone in, or Ian Fox's chance. But when they reflect on their year, they'll realise they're coming. With the age profile of the group that they have. They've got a young team and have made huge strides this year. There were whatever, I think 15, 16 points hammering they got last year in the semi-final. So Sarsfields have closed the gap. Will Turlock find enough improvement, and will they be able to tactically get the better of Thomas's? Like in particular, Thomas's puck out, like they're adept at getting the numbers, their ruck ball work that they get through in terms of the amount of ball they win from that. Their distribution of the ball is at the highest level. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is I'm looking at Turlock more now, and they're coming. And with the young lads, particularly Tom Quirk the last day, Dara Whelan in the corner, Tarpey, they've got lovely feet. As Cyril Farlock said, great side step. But they hurt the Loughrea defence the last day, particularly with the two goals that were got. Will Thomas has allowed that much space to be given? I doubt it. But if Turlock can get their running game going and get their powerful runners running through the middle, it'll be interesting. A lot will depend on a lot of the key matchups, and you can look at it a lot of ways, but I just think the Connor Cooney question is who picks him up. Would I trust Dan Loftus? Yeah. Would I trust Kevin Hussey if he's fully fit? Yeah. Then you could let Dahi sit, but you can't let him give him the freedom at the park in Pearse Stadium the next time.
Just on Turlock, has Darren Shocks and Brian Holland's energy on the line, has that been something that's added, do you think, to Turlock this year?
I'd say, yeah, the lads will be passionate. They'll be passionate clubmen, and obviously they brought something different to the group this year, and they've been slowly burning all year, Paul. They got the lesson early in the championship from Gart. That night, if Loughrea had gotten that earlier in the year, it probably would have brought an awful lot more focus and edge to the group. But they were playing playing really high levels all year, putting up huge scores, but they weren't being truly tested. Whereas Turlough got that challenge that night, and obviously they had to fix a few things. Jamie Holling came back into it. Kevin Hussey came back into it. I know he didn't play the last day. But look, the boys have brought on obviously a lot of energy to it, a lot of passion. And look, obviously the work started early in the year, started in January, and they're bearing the fruits of their labour now. But look, they know themselves now. They're nearly at a stage whereby, you know, a good 65, 70 minute performance where all players are firing, they get their stuff right, their house in order. It's there for them.
You mentioned there for Turlough. Where did Loughrea go from here? Obviously, Jamie was a really significant loss, but I actually think if they look back in that game, there probably won't be there's obviously Jamie's a massive loss, but it's probably the freeze they had at key stages really in that game could have clawed it back, and they could have got ahead at Turlough before kind of Sean Hanlon responds there, because there was 2 or 3 frees that they did miss within that period and after it.
Yeah, look, I'd back Neil Carey any day. He made a huge difference when he came on, and he kind of he changed the game. Really, Neil is a really smart hurler, and anytime he gets the ball in his hand, good things will happen with the ball. But look, Brian was striking them well as well. So Neil wanted it, and Shane Morgan had scored with the 2 long range ones, Paul, and probably 2 wides, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 3 out of 4 he got. Yeah,
three out of 4. You know, so you're look at that stage. Tommy and the lads in the line. I trust Neil also in that situation. But like, he was coming into the game, was he up to speed with what was going on? You know, look, it's you're looking at it from the point of view of you had 3 guys there. If you could change something again, you'd probably go back and give it to probably Shane Morgan, you know. But look, that's ifs and buts and maybes, and you're clutching at straws. I just think that Loughrea, the 2 goals they conceded were soft in nature. Jamie was obviously a huge loss. A few of the lads didn't fire or didn't do enough up front. And there was 1 or 2 wides, and Martin Mack had one in the second half that he should have scored off his right. And shocking to see as well, like, you know. So I don't think the wide count was huge, Paul. I don't think it was factor. I just think Turlough brought more to it, and they scored the critical goals at critical times. And then when the game was entering the home straight, Sean and Hanlon came up with the key score. Phelan caused them an awful problem inside in his ball winning ability. But look, yeah, it's year 2 for the management. It's year 4 for some of them. And it'll be tough to take. I don't know. It's who they're going to get and who's going to better what they have, and I don't think they're going to better what they have in terms of the caliber of the people involved in the setup at present. And that's just not me saying it from a personal point of view. I just know the quality that they have as individuals and collectively what they bring as a management team, and I know that the players believe in them and vice versa. And it's difficult because the game they lost, they know they could have won it. They had the chances to win it, and that's the golden thing that hurt them over the winter. But when they sit down and look at it, look, there's a lot of good sides out there that would love to be in the situation that Loughrea have with the age profile of the lads. Yeah, look, Johnny's whatever 34, Paul Hooban seems to be going on forever. Is he 32 or 33 or 34 or 35? I don't know. He seems to be getting younger. But they have enough youth there to go back at it again.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, and as you mentioned, you feel Sarsfields are building, and they definitely have regrets with the goal chances there. Just on the second page then of the senior, Clymer Daly remain in 10th, Gorse remain 11th, Mike Cullen 12th, Tommy Larkins 13th, Crowell 14th, Kilkenny stay in 15th after their win in the relegation final, and Portumna, who are relegated to Senior B, stay in 16th, where they've found themselves over the last few weeks. Just before we touch on Kilkenny and Portumna, because they were the only other teams that played obviously outside the semi-finalists at the weekend, Who in the senior championship do you feel can make a difference to Galway and Henry Shefflin in 2024?
Players wise, sure. Look, only after coming from dying in there in torrential rain this evening, so there was 26 of them. So a lot of the lads, the tail end of the squad, are obviously getting themselves ready to go back with Galway in December, and they're probably trying to keep on. Well, not probably, they are trying to keep on top of their fitness levels. Look, you're looking at it, and you're looking at the clubs there. Jamie Ryan, obviously, with Loughrea. Turlockmore, Sean and Hanlon had a good year, but Shane Morgan did a brilliant job on him the last day. Is Henry looking for size, or what type of player is he looking for? You're looking down through Sarsfield's, anyone that's
is Ian Fox someone?
Yeah, look, Ian, for me, of all the fifth hurlers I've had over the last 6-7 years, he'd be up in the top 10 at least in terms of ball usage. Brilliant around rucks. He's 24, 25. Mature enough to handle. Does he deserve an opportunity, Paul? Yeah, he does.
Have you been surprised that he hasn't got an opportunity?
Yeah, because even with the fit squads that we had, I think we played Mary I in the semi-final a couple of years ago when Aaron Gallan led the Mary I team into the final. I think it was Conor Whelan's last year. Ian would have marked a lot of top players from UCC and Mary I. I think one day we gave him the job of marking Dara Fitzgibbon, and then we switched him over into Coleman. So he didn't phase him. He was well used to it. He's a lad that works fairly hard on his game. He's a lad, yeah, that I would be looking at and saying he brings something different to it. You're going down through the other teams there. Seen Rory Burke last week with the freshers. Very impressive. Obviously done an awful lot of right things over the last couple of years. I'm sure Henry will be looking at him, but again, he's only 19,
Would you let him play under 20 now, or what would you do there?
See, I'm looking at it from the point of view of the SNC and what the senior setup will give them. If they get the support of the SNC, and it's a year 15 months development for the lads 100%, and you're giving them game time, yeah, by all means. If you brought them into the SNC and then let them off for the summer back with the 20s for them 3 months, I'd say, yeah, do that. What tends to happen in Galway is the lads are brought in, they're SNC, they get a few games either in Fitz or Walsh Cup, they get a few minutes in the league, and then they're sitting on the bench for the summer. And that doesn't help in their own growth and development either. So again, from experience, if they're good enough to make it, they'll make it at 19, 20. But there's not many counties now, Paul, that are producing lads that are ready made at 19 and 20 years of age. It's very, very few. The only one that comes to mind is probably Ben Cunningham from Cork, really. But genetically, he's 6'3". He's ready made at this stage. But Cork didn't use him at all last year, which I couldn't believe. I haven't seen him play some fresher games. Outside of that, then you look down through it, Castlegar, Capitaiga, Lynn Collins is there, Jazz there, Ardsran. We kind of flagged Jason Kennedy. Backs wise, Michael Walsh possibly, based on size. Then you're going down through Clymer Daly and the three Concannons. You could. Brian is there. There's been utterances for one of the other brothers to, I think it was centre back, to have a look at him. Gort, you've Jack, Mike Cullen.
Is Nathan Gill someone?
Yeah, he's athleticism. He's there, Paul. It's just he's hurling craft and knows that he needs to learn. That'll only come by playing a really high standard of hurling. Nathan just needs to get his head up earlier and offload the ball quicker. Everything else he has, attitude is 100%. I don't know the guy personally. I'm only judging him for what I've seen this year. But he would tick an awful lot of boxes. He'd be a lad, I'd say, that'd be worth putting time and effort into, to get the best out of him. Mike Cullen, we've had Fionn McDonough, we've had him at Fitz, 6'7". You know, you're kind of going, he brings something completely different to it. Young Davern is a lad that will definitely, Dermot will definitely be thereabouts in the next 2 years. He's a ready-made college hurler, Fitz hurler. For me, Tommy Larkins, I'd say if Niall hadn't have done the shoulder, he probably would have got a licking and brought in. With Liam and Cha, there's no one there then from
the other
from Capitagal, yeah. So Crockwell, Adrian Prendergast, you know, Tom Monaghan, you know, so you're going down through it. Kilkenardy, McGlynn is in there, Portumna, Declan McLaughlin. I don't know where Jack Canning is at present. I got 2 yellows the last day, so I don't know where he's at. In terms of his own development, come on a sub, I think, for Portumna. So like, it's what he has, and can he find 2 or 3 others, and that's the hard part.
What's the most important position that Galway need to strengthen on?
There's up top, Paul.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the way the game is going, that ball that breaks around midfield, it's size that you need at the 10, 12, 8, 9 position, and you know, 11 also, unless you play Evan as a second 11. You know, you need size around them rucks, and that's just the way the game has gone. I know, like what I'm told in Cork is they've changed their SSC program completely with the footballers and hurlers. Footballers, it's about getting around the pitch, whereas they're now looking at size, and they're planning accordingly for the next 3 to 5 years with that. But they're going down as far as I presume down to the development squads, looking at them. I'm talking to the lads at development squads. Size is obviously important. They're picking probably 13 to 14 guys, athletic guys, and then it's 2 or 3 technically good lads that are probably inside, and that's just the way some countries are doing it at present.
This on Kilkenaryn, Portumna, that was relegation final. Kilkenaryn put in a really, really strong display. Shane Caulfield really to the fore for them in that victory, 120-13. Kilkenaryn probably need to show that kind of performance, probably more so in senior hurling now, you feel, to progress. And Portumna now, it's really about rebuilding.
Yeah, Kilkenaryn probably unfortunate this year. Didn't probably put enough scores against Mike Cullen, so they wouldn't be in as predictable. But it's probably no harm for them either to go through the battling that they've had to do for the last couple of rounds. And they're building. They've a lot of young fellas coming. So for them, it's about sustaining where they're at in Senior A, and that was hugely important for them. Yeah, look, Portumna were a really good side last year. We played against them in the final group game. So like they'll be fairly disappointed after winning under 20B last year as well, Paul, to be back down in Senior B after putting all the good work in. I was told Johnny Kelly was back for the last couple of weeks trying to help them out.
Yeah.
And keep them up, you know. So that's disappointing from their point of view after doing all that good work last year, putting them back into Senior A, and then obviously this year, obviously the work wasn't being done, and they're back down to Senior B.
So just you mentioned Portumna are obviously down to in Senior B for 2024. Just on the Senior B rankings, then Mulla first, Ashgrove second. They play Saturday week in the replay of the Senior B final after a terrific spectacle. But then you just have Killarney Leach from third, Lee Mellows fourth, fifth, Port Pierce is sixth, Athenry seventh, and Clymer eighth. So going on this, you feel Mulla are going to win the replay?
No, I'd go for a Haskra. I'd go for a Haskra. Looking at it there now, just basing it on the game the last day. Like Mulla, you know, Mulla were up 6 or 7 at half time. Haskra were managing the game well, in terms of just, you know, breaking momentum, players going down, just trying to break any flow that Mulla that might get. Look, looking at it there now, I'd fancy a Hasker the next time. Call it a few shots. One in particular, he wouldn't be happy that he should have scored. But young Dolphin for me up top, Paul, he's a joy to watch. He reminds me of Kevin Broderick a small bit with his feet. He got on an unbelievable score in the second half where he danced around the two lads.
Is it too soon? Is it too soon yet for Galway Senior, or do you think get him in?
Again, look, it's giving him the support and structure of an SSE program and working away with him and just giving him time and give him, look, a really strong. Is he still in school, Paul? I don't know. I'd say he's probably still in school. I don't know because he hasn't come on my radar anyhow yet with colleges. So that'll be interesting if he is. We'll look for a scholarship for him next year. But is it too soon? It's probably too soon, because in terms of his own development, he's had a really good club campaign, but he's so accurate. He's so accurate. Unbelievable feet. Able to weave in and out. As brilliant and adept at creating space for himself and getting shots off. But his scoring has been through the roof, and he's been a huge difference to Monday this year in terms of frees and scores from play. And that's why they're in the position that they're in. But I just think a Hasker Fona probably have a bit more to give if they can get a bit more out of Sean Blaine and on Delaney. Mark Kelly had a fine outing in the park, and Cahill, I think there's probably a bit more improvement in them the next day.
So you're giving an advantage there to a Hasker. Just to move on to the intermediate ranking. So Tynagh-Abbey first, Ballindereen second, Meath Aircourt third, Ceylon fourth, then fifth is Carramore, who've been the closest team this year to Tynagh-Abbey, well, bar Ballindereen in that group game where they obviously drew with Tynagh. Rahul Newcastle sixth, Kinbarra seventh, Clarebridge eighth, and Abbey Knockmoyne ninth. Did the intermediates surprise you at the weekend, given how much of a gap there was in the two games?
Ballindereen have a very balanced unit now. But will they have enough for Tynagh is the question. Probably not, just based on the results to date and based on the first group game. Tynagh played Ballindereen, didn't they?
Well, Tynagh played Ballindereen in the last group game in the drew.
Yeah, the drew. Okay, so how much were Tynagh holding back there? Did the rest of the players? I don't know. But that's going to be probably a lot closer than the probably Meath Aircourt game, because look, Ballindereen have size and strength, as well to match up, and with the weather the way it's turning as well. If it's a wet, mucky day, Anton is plausible. Look, you still have to fancy Tynagh-Abbey with the players they have. Paul Glean is flying it. Brehney, Maloney, David Jordan, Ben Morden, Power. They probably have better players in Ballindereen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's tighter than people expect.
And Ballindereen win intermediate.
And Ballindereen win intermediate. I'd give them a chance, but the way Tynagh have been performing this year, apart from probably they got their fright, you see, from probably the Ballindereen game, and got their fright from the Cardamore game. It's very easy for Matty and Imagine to talk to Les now about remaining focused and just keep working and keep the head down and stay grounded, because they've got their frights early. So look, that's on when? Is that on Sunday week as well?
Saturday week. That's a double header with the Senior B replay in Ballindereen.
Okay, yeah. Look, it's good value for money. Like the online stuff, it's brilliant. 25 quid for how many games did we get? We got the Junior A, we got the intermediate, we got the two semi-finals. It's if you miss it, you can go back and watch the games. You can rewatch it. For value for money, you'd have to say fair play to them.
On Meath and Ceylon, obviously Meath last year lost the final. Near neighbours, the goal killed them at the start of the second half by Port Breheny, and then Ceylon, the goal right before half time with Ballinderine having the breeze the goals kind of seem to kill both teams.
Yeah, look, Silent came back in the second half and got it back to within 9, and they won clear cut chance.
They're back to 7, I think.
7, yeah. So I think they had 1 goal chance. I think the corner forward dropped it. The name escapes me now. But Ballinderine, they've been coming all year long. Some of the results they've got, and the belief they probably would have got from the Tynagh game, got them through quarter final, and then they had too much fun for Silent, Paul. Like from the last in terms of hurlers and the quality of their play and the scores that they have inside. Killing Craven, look, just back from injury made a big difference to Silent, but overall, Ballinderine were full value for the win.
Meelick is kind of similar to Loughrea here.
No, you've a lot of Morgans coming through in Loughrea now.
Yeah.
You've an awful lot of players coming through there.
I suppose being in last year's final and coming up short.
Yeah, and then look, from talking to a few of the Clarenbridge lads and what they've gone through for the last 2 years, because you get to a final, you expect to get back there again. But what tends to happen, and Thomas's are brilliant at this, is they don't forget, and the players within their teams, within Thomas's setup, that keep lads in line in terms of their standards they expect from each other. So they're driven to win a 6 in a row, and they understand the importance of hard work and commitment. So there's a reason why there's a lot of clubs falling by the wayside or not getting there, is because, look, lads want to go off to America and want to go off to wherever they want to go to, and they forget about the importance of training collectively as a group. But the teams that are getting to county finals are the teams that make sure that their own house is in order. And there's a reason why Thomas's are there for the last 6 years, because they expect, and David and Dara and the Coonies, James Regan in that equation, they're obviously, come game day, they turn up and they always deliver. And there's a reason for that, because obviously the culture they have within the club and within their own setup, they don't tolerate anything that's going to affect their performance in a match day.
So just the second half of intermediate here, there's nothing really new here, but it's just Ballygare, 10th, Kiltormer 11th, and down 12th, Kilbacon 13th. Crawford 14th, Turlockmore 15th, and Onspidale 16th. Onspidale obviously go to junior hurling for 2024, but that means we have a new team coming up for 2024. The Skahana-Montbellew, it seemed like they were in control, but then Loughrea came with a flurry laid on, and they were able to answer those questions. Skahana-Montbellew got over the line. They're in intermediate hurling for 2024. They obviously have the Junior 1 semi-finals coming up now, so if they want to progress in the provincial series, they have to win Junior 1 with the way it's structured. But massive relief for them last year, considering that defeat to Ballygare last year.
Look, Loughrea will be kicking themselves, the Sweeney chance for half time with the goal. Mikey Murray's, I think it was two frees to start the second half. They won't be happy because it was there for them also. But look, obviously, Skahana-Montbellew learned from last year. I was pulled to see where Sean McDonough was playing, Paul. Was he wing forward, and then he was back in the half back line for the last 10-15 minutes and got that long range free. Well, she knows a lad that has raw and rangy. You'd be interested to see where he is in the next 2 years as well. In terms of he needs intermediate hurling. Sean McDonough needs intermediate hurling as well. For them to progress on and develop. So yeah, look, it's. The Junior A, look, I know it's from Bob Meadows 2 years ago. It's a good standard of competition. It's a lot different from Junior D, because I was watching that final a couple of weeks ago. When I was in Turlock, there was some serious stuff out in Ballinderring. But look, Junior A, it can be used in a great way to develop players and to bring them along. But look, Loughrea will probably be kicking themselves if they didn't convert all the chances they created.
Relief obviously for Scan and Montpellier, as I mentioned, but like the future is really bright there with that club at 17s and 20s playing at A level.
Yeah, look, underage, like the numbers, that area that they have, it's a huge area, Paul, and the north of Galway. But obviously they're doing an awful lot of good work in Skahana and in Montpellier, and obviously my luck as well. But it's a huge area, Paul. You drive past Barnajarg and you get the right turn there down to Ceylon, and you keep going. I know this road well from being up in Four Roads back in 2014, so I know it well. But it's a huge catchment area. I'd love to know how many national schools are there, and are the clubs putting in the work into the schools and the teachers putting the work. I presume they are, because they're not competing at A level. That's not just done overnight. That's investing in coaching structures within your club over 10, 11, 12-year period, and they'll reap what they sow. If they can get 3 or 4 lads in the academy squads every year for the next 5, 6 years, that's going to augur well for them in the future, obviously.
You see them winning Junior A, and could you see them going on a bit of a run this year?
It depends on what's down south in Limerick and Cork. You see, these teams could be loaded. In Kilkenny, you need to look at it from the point of view. I think they have 12 senior A teams, then it drops on senior B. So their junior teams would probably play in at a level higher than ours. So it depends on what draw they get. It's Lynskey and Sligo, wouldn't it? That the one up there.
Yeah.
That they'll be playing, so you fairly fancy them to get over that. And then it's the draw after that. Do they play the Ulster winners? I'm not too sure who to play next after that. So, win a Connacht, put yourself into a semi-final, and you're nearly in Croke Park, and that's a story that they'd want for their club and for their own community. And it'd be a brilliant story if they get that far. But looks like it's to one game at a time.
Yeah, they have I think Junior 1 semi-finals in the next few weeks, and then if they win that, they're obviously in a final, so it'll be a fairly hectic period for them over the next few weeks, but they'll be delighted to be back up in intermediate, and congratulations to everyone there. That's all we do have time for on the Power Rankings today. Thanks as always to Jeff for coming on, and we'll be back after the county final again.